Thursday, it's partially cloudy, 78, with a 20% chance of rain. That's the highest percent of rain throughout the forecast. Friday, it's 79. Saturday, 77. Sunday, partially cloudy again with 74. Monday, another partially cloudy with 72. And then the high point of the forecast is next Tuesday with an 80. So the high points are pretty much Friday with 79 and Tuesday with an 80. Looks like the highest percent of rain is actually going to be on Thursday with a 78.
Wow, I got all that. Do you have a beach report?
I actually do have a beach report. It looks like if you're going to go to the beach yet again, another week, Sunday is very good conditions. It'll be very good beach and pool weather. Saturday and Friday are about not so good, with the lowest chances of beach day being Wednesday. So Sunday, looking good.
Well, Weatherdude, that's excellent. Thank you very much. I mean, it's a little tough to hear you, but at the end, I think by punching this button here to kind of solo you out in the board, we're able to get you through. So good for that. You got any inspiration for us? Ladies and gentlemen, the Weatherdude, unlike all the other stations, of course, we'll give it to you at the top of the hour, so you don't have to wait.
I actually do. If you'll give me 1 second, I got it right here.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Go.
All righty. It was a very high counsel that I once heard given to a young person, quote, "Always do what you are afraid to do," by Ralph Waldo Emerson.
So that's our inspiration for the
Always do what you are afraid to do. I think that's great.
Excellent. All right, we'll keep that in mind this week, Weatherdude.
I hope you do, Tony.
All right, man. Well, listen, thanks so much for checking in with us, and it turned out perfect, the sound. It came out really good.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, so thanks for the inspiration, too, and you have a great week, and we'll see you next week, because when Weatherdude leaves, ladies and gentlemen, that means that phone line is open for you to call for totally open phones, all right?
All right, I just want to say peace and love to the world, and I'll see you all next week.
Excellent. Weatherdude, thank you so much for checking in, giving us the weather.
All right, no problem.
Okay, ma'am. So, Lorraine.
Uh-huh.
It's just you and me and any New Yorker that wants to call, or even if you're not a New Yorker, you're in somewhere else in the world, you can call. We're going to quickly go over the news, but the big news of today, of course, is that Officer Hastings pleads not guilty to manslaughter charges in Bronx shooting. So remember we did a show, Lorraine, we interviewed Ramarley Graham's mother.
Uh-huh, he was the one with the bag of pot, and they thought he had a gun.
Yeah. And that an officer was arraigned on manslaughter charges on Wednesday in the shooting death of an unarmed 18-year-old man. This is sort of how I don't know which I think it's the New York Times, yeah. They call him an 18-year-old man rather than referring to him as a teenager, who was followed by the police to his home in the Bronx and then killed by a single police bullet in his bathroom. So yeah, I remember that story. Well, here, I'll read it to you. Appearing in State Supreme Court in the Bronx, the officer, Richard Haste, 31, pleaded not guilty to charges of first and second degree manslaughter. He was released after posting $50,000 bail. Stuart London, a defense lawyer for Officer Haste, portrayed his client as a product of the Bronx, a graduate of Lehman High School, an armed services veteran, a New York City police officer for 4 years. I thought he'd been new and he had not been trained, but he'd been there for 4 years. Mr. London said Officer Haste had no choice but to shoot Mr. Graham. I thought he was going to kill me, Mr. London said, quoting a statement given by Officer Haste after the episode, so I shot him. Anyway, in the minutes before the shooting, a street narcotics unit team, just to refresh everyone's mind, unit team had been staking out a bodega in the Wakefield section of the Bronx, acting on a tip of drug sales out front. 2 officers then reported that they believed one of the 3 men seen leaving the bodega had a gun. And then they all talked about that belief, and this officer who heard those recordings and was chasing the guy up into the bathroom in front of his grandmother shot him. Anyway, today he was arraigned on manslaughter. What about that, Lorraine? Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm not a legal expert, but at least it wasn't on murder.
Well, yeah, I was asking someone what is manslaughter, and
it's a lesser degree.
yeah, it doesn't have like the premeditation. In fact, he told me that it's called manslaughter because it's taken after when a a wife comes home and sees the husband with someone else. I don't know if that's true or not, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't quote me on it. But anyway, that's what someone told me. So anyway, all of that is related to stop and frisk, right? Remember, Lorraine, we talked about that and how it was connected, and you know, the high degree of stop and frisk. That's been very much in the news here in Manhattan, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, you can call, all right? You only have like 10 more minutes of calls, and then Dean Lauren's going to come in and talk to us a little bit about something else that's going on in the police force. But you can call now. It's totally open phones. You can talk to other New Yorkers. You can talk about these subjects. Is manslaughter enough? We can talk about stop and frisk, which we're going to do in a minute, and Big Gulp, because that story kind of passed away very quickly, but they're going to make it happen, apparently. So stop and frisk app. There's a stop and frisk app. I don't know if you guys know that, but that you can use to, it's really put out by the New York Civil Liberties Union. I called them up, asked them to send someone to be interviewed, but you know, they never return my calls. I don't know why. If I were them, I would definitely return my call, but they don't return my call. So I'm going to play this this video they make of the Stop and Frisk app. All right, it is available only on Android phones. Everybody pay attention. It didn't start out on iPhone and then go to Android. It started out on Android, and the sentence says an iPhone version will be released later this summer. It's the first time I saw that. Anyway, the app allows bystanders to fully document stop and frisk encounters and alert community members when a street stop is in progress. And it has three primary functions. It records a stop and frisk, it listens, it kind of geolocates other stop and frisks around the neighborhood for you, and it then takes your video and sends it up to the New York Civil Liberties Union. So I'm going to play this really quick, and you guys can just take a look at it, and then we can talk about it in a second. All right, I got to turn off the music down here really fast, pause the show music, and get this going. Lorraine, you with us?
I'm trying to take it all in.
Okay, here we go. So this is the Stop and Frisk app. Let's see how this goes.
The New York Civil Liberties Union Stop and Frisk Watch is an easy way to record and report NYPD interactions with the public. Note, all footage and reports will be sent immediately to the NYCLU. The app has three main functions: record, listen, and report. Record allows you to videotape an incident, audio included. Stop recording by shaking your phone or manually pressing click to stop. As soon as filming ends, you will immediately get a brief survey. Please fill it out and share any pertinent information regarding the police interaction you saw. We encourage you to click the My Settings tab at the bottom of the app. Fill in your contact info in case we need to reach you about what you saw. If you want to know when people around you are getting stopped by the police, use the listen function. When other app users trigger Stop and Frisk Watch, you'll get a prompt reporting where the police stop is happening. This feature is especially useful for community groups who monitor police activity. The report function prompts the survey. You can use this function to report a police interaction you saw or experienced, even if you didn't film it. One more thing. Click on your rights to learn about your rights with police and your rights to film police interactions with the public. By knowing your rights and reporting police misconduct, you can hold NYPD accountable for its actions.
Lorraine,
Yeah.
did you catch that?
Yeah, it sounds like they're policing the police.
Yeah, that's sort of the whole motivation there. But you notice that you can take a video of anything and fill in the form, and it'll go to them. Right? So, I mean, I took a video of my couch, and there was no one on it, and pushed the button. And but I'm just thinking, you all be careful what you send, because they know who's sending it, because they got your phone number, right? Because you're sending it from your phone. They got all that figured out. So just be careful what you send. Anyway, I think the gentleman at the New York Civil Liberties Union has a really fun job going on there. So Lorraine, anything else going on your end of the field there?
No, it's kind of boring and hot here.
Well, New York Mayor Bloomberg took his defense of the police department's stop and frisk program to one of Brooklyn's highest crime communities on Sunday, 3 days ago, championing the program from the pulpit of a black church in Brownsville. You guys can call, all right? Call, tell us what you think. Is manslaughter enough? Are you for stop and frisk? You know, we've had a lot of people say they're not for stop and frisk, but are you for it? I mean, maybe some people are for it. And we're going to get to the big gulp in just a story, okay, in just a little bit. But the use of stop and frisk, in which police stop and question people they suspect of an unlawful activity and frisk those they suspect of carrying a weapon, has risen dramatically in the Bloomberg administration to 685,724 in 2011 from 160,000 in 2003. Wow. So, however, Mayor Bloomberg, in fairness, also countered the racial charge by reading names, ages, and communities of 10 New Yorkers murdered in the city during the first week of June. All 10 were young men, all 10 were black and Hispanic. Sadly, 96% of shooting suspects are black and Latino. I don't have to tell you about black on black crime. But instead, he insisted, compared to a decade ago, and listen to this carefully because nobody understands what we've really done, 30% fewer people are behind bars than a decade ago. Anyway, the New York City Council has introduced legislation that would create an inspector general to oversee the New York City Police Department amid criticism of the stop and frisk policy. So, I don't know why no one wants to call. Lorraine, how come you think people don't want to call?
Because I think the subject matter, I think the big gulp people will want to call on that.
The big gulp they want to call on? All right, let's jump to the big gulp really quick. Listen, Cuomo defends got to talk this in, okay, because the New York Times really beat up Mr. Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, for going to a fundraising event where this company involved in the gambling deal was and all that kind of stuff, and they raised money to have a PAC to do advertising. You know, I kind of read that and I was like, you know, everybody has to do that today to live. It's just the way it goes. It's not a big deal. Yeah, the New York City Board of Health is signaling support for the mayor's proposal to fight obesity by banning the sale of large sugary beverages at restaurants. We did this story last week. It got a little bit overrun with a couple of other stories. But what is really interesting about this is Mayor Michael Bloomberg wants thousands of eateries to serve high-calorie drinks like colas and punch in containers 16 ounces or smaller. However, did you know that at 7-Eleven, the Big Gulp eludes a ban by the city? The Big Gulp, okay, the drink also happens to be an important exception to Mayor Bloomberg's proposed ban on the sale of large size of sugary drinks in a variety of places of New York City. Okay, because it's only applied in delis, fast food restaurants, and movie theaters, but exempt from groceries or convenience stores, like 7-Eleven where you get the Big Gulp. Amazing.
Well, because you get more dehydrated when you're outside.
Well, but why we make exceptions? You see, that's why that rule is not going to work. Number one, it pits people against each other. You know, people who are obese and people who aren't, and you've got something and you can't have a cup. You know, it's really like back to very childish. But the other piece of the puzzle of it is that just like the 7-Eleven Big Gulp, I mean, there's going to have to be all these exceptions. So, you know, since no one's calling, that's okay. I don't care. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a little picture of the future, all right, of what the future would look like because it's filmed in our city here. So this is a view from, it's called Google Glass, and this is a way you're going to wake up in the morning, and this is how you're going to live your life eventually as they glass things over. And it was done in New York City. It's only like 3 minutes. So take a watch of this, everybody, and enjoy it, all right? I'll see if I can get this going here. It's just a look at the future from a technology point of view. Let's say, get me out of here. Get the volume up. So this guy wakes up. Somehow all this stuff appears. I love that. You look at the window and it tells you.
Yeah. Meet me in front of Strand Books at 2.
New York, New York.
Oh man, really? Hey there, guy. Hey there, little guy. Sweet. Remind me to buy tickets for Monsieur Gano tonight. Where's the music section? Oh, yes, this is it. Is Paul here yet? Huh. Hey, dude. How's it going?
Want to go check out that new place I was telling you about?
Sure.
This truck's really good.
Hey, just a second. Cool.
Good to see you again.
Thanks, man.
Just got a new place in Offset City.
See you, dude. Whoa, cool. Take a photo of this. Share it to my circles. Oh, I'm running late. Music, stop.
Hi, what's up?
Hey,
Hey.
you want to say something cool?
Yeah, sure. Is that a ukulele?
Yep. Okay, here goes.
That's beautiful.
I thought that was really cute. Did you like that, Lorraine?
Yeah, but I don't understand where the glass is.
I think it's eyeglasses that you're wearing.
Oh.
You know. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can take that, but I think it's glasses that you wear, and it then screens all that stuff in front of you. But I really like the shot where they go into the subway and it tells you it's late, right? People are gonna be forever taking the walk around. Here, and we've got basically 3 more minutes of the show. And before we sign out, I wanted to introduce again Dean Lauren from the Dean Lauren Show on Thursday nights at 6:30. And Dean wanted to make a comment. I know you had a topic before you wanted to talk about, but what's up with you? Let me make sure your mic works. Go for it.
It's about Marley Graham and the whole issue of the cops and the brutality. What we're now seeing is, and it's just come out in an expose, that the cops have been perpetrating crackdowns with these search and seizures, illegal search and seizures, to bump up their overtime pay so that people don't understand. Usually we consider your pensions based on your salary, but the policemen's pensions are based on the last 3 years of their salary plus overtime. So this is the reason why they haven't been hiring young cops, and they have been boosting their overtime with these senseless search and seizures of young black youth, because they know they're not going to fight back. This way they can justify the overtime for their lieutenants and sergeants, so when they get their pensions, instead of going out at $70,000 a year, they're going out at $120,000 a year, folks. And now there's amnesty programs being instituted by the governor to say, look, if you come clean, we'll let you go back to your pension at $70,000. If you don't, this is also for firemen and for policemen, if you don't let everybody know that you bumped up your overtime in order to falsify your pensions, then we're going to come down hard on you. So the city and the state is coming to clean up the unions, and I say bravo.
Who is that? Governor Cuomo?
Governor Cuomo, and Bloomberg is doing it reluctantly, because this is the fire department and the policemen, and it's notorious.
Well, it reminds me of Italy. I lived in Italy, and we our pensions it would be calculated again on the last years of your earnings, but as well, you could put off your vacation time for your whole life, basically, to the end of when you retire, and they have to pay you the vacation in your ending salary. Isn't that cool?
Right, and then that bumps up your pension.
Oh, yeah, apparently.
So this is the biggest scam in New York City, where the policemen knew that they could have hired all these younger cadets, and we could have had forces, and it would have been reasonable. But no, they had to go arrest these young black youths to justify their overtime and bump up their pensions. And I say, shame on you.
Dean, thank you so much for joining us, okay?
All right.
We play the music, 6:30 on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Thanks for joining us. See you on the internet. Lorraine, you there?